Hey guys, Blockchain Game Dev here, and in this video we're going to go over a new concept that we have, which is basically like bounded execution for AI agents. So let's take into consideration a scenario where in ERC-8001 all the checks and balances have been made, and multi-party consensus has been made, and now we get into this state where it's ready to be executed. Currently, that just executes. But what if we wanted to have some like safeguards? So let's take into consideration on a worst case scenario, all these checks and balances have been made, but when we get to the part of execution, there may be an agent that has been compromised in some way. And how do we mitigate that? So the main premise that we're trying to get to is that consensus should not be directly equal to unlimited execution for an agentic NPC, right? So if we get into like a DeFi situation where an autonomous trading agent has a balance of $100 million, and it may have as a execution guardrail a limit of a percentage of that. And so if that agent was compromised in some way, then the losses would only be to what the limit was for that day instead of the whole account. And that's the premise of what we're doing, and of course it saves us in games as well. That's kind of why we solve the problem. Anyway, so this goes in a different flow, so I'm gonna have to use the command line here, and just move this up if I can. It might just be better. Okay, so here we have our test item that we're going to purchase. It's a health potion, and we have the ID for it. We call, of course, the demo, and then we start the bounded execution, and we pass in our test item and then the value of it. And so this is going to start the actual flow here. So the proposing of the coordination is, along the same lines as the last video. The more important part of this video is the execution part and the problem that we solve there. So let's just okay. So we have our agent intent, which you've seen in previous videos. Now this is still a flow of the player and the in-game NPC. And I'll kind of speed run through these parts of the acceptance and get to the execution part, as this is the same as the previous video. Everything's good. Okay, so now we have the bounded execution. You can see here, the one thing that's really interesting is that we have our policy, and then we have our Merkle proof, and then the bounded intent. Okay, so we'll confirm that. This looks good. All right. There we go. So on the execution, we have these guardrails now so that even if the whole process of ERC-8001 has been made, when we get into the execution stage now, we have the ability to add guardrails to the agent to make sure that those thresholds, if they're set, haven't been reached. So this gives a lot more credibility to the agents that are running autonomously on chain, because there are guardrails or rules for these specific agents. So as they proliferate, blockchain doing all kinds of different financial services for us behind the scenes, we can rest assured that programmed in code that these agents can only do certain things, and they cannot just run wild. So it's a really cool headway into the stuff that we're going to be doing in the future. So I'm going to copy this address, and I'm going to show the flow here. So you'll notice that in the last example, we had 3 stages of the log, and now we have a 4th, which is this extra bounded execution. So you'll see here that it's similar to the previous examples where we have our transfer, and then we have the intent that is basically executed. So you'll see here we have our agent and the intent hash. And then we had the item purchased, similar to what we saw before. And now we have our bounded coordination executed, which does those the additional checks to make sure that those guardrails have not been passed. And yeah, so that's pretty much bounded agent execution. It's another enhancement for GameFi agentic commerce as well. And we'll see you guys in new videos. Make sure to like and subscribe.